Good morning, Joel. How are you doing today?
Good. All good here. Thank you.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Hey, speaking of awesome, I got to tell you, you are going to be on the walls of so many young adults and children because everybody loves insects, and you have taken that road.
That is sweet. I wish everybody loved insects. We're trying to get more people to care about them for sure, though.
Well, I
appreciate you having me on.
I read that you do have that passion to save them, and I can relate with you because when it comes to the Terminex, man, I tell them, keep your hands off my spiders. Do not touch my spiders whatsoever.
That's right. Well, yeah, I don't know how they discern between spiders and everything else, but it's really pretty critical that we start paying attention to everything, and insects especially, you know.
What was it like to put this journey together? Because, I mean, for these insects to be in one place and you captured that image, I can't even catch a firefly, Joel.
Well, I mean, what we did is we would look at animals, the insects that would fly into my porch lights, catch them up in a mason jar or an empty, cleaned-out peanut butter jar with holes in the lid like you would at summer camp as a kid, or set up sheets with powerful lights on them to draw them in at night, grab them up, put them in a little containment tent or a shooting tent, photograph them for a few minutes, and then release them back into the night sky right where they came from. And so when they're in this little containment tent, they can move around all they want. The flashes are very fast and they freeze motion, and the insect can't really go anywhere. He's in a white room, and a little white room, you know. And we zoom in with a macro lens and photograph. And then we just let the designer do his thing and put together a lovely book out of all of it. But it's about 18 months worth of work just on native insects in Nebraska and around during the pandemic, and then some additional insects from different places around the world. A lot of zoos have very good invertebrate collections now as well.
When you were capturing the images of these insects, were there any insects that you wanted to find, something that you were really looking for and would be excited to see?
Oh, you know, I really like doing butterflies quite a bit. Butterflies are fantastic. And obviously everybody loves butterflies, or they should. So I'm always game to do those. Beetles are also pretty easy to photograph and come in an amazing variety of colors, shapes, sizes. So I guess I'm drawn to the things that are very pretty or easy to photograph. Wasps are not. They're often very beautiful, more colorful than I ever imagined, but they're a little trickier because they don't stop moving. Ants are the same way. So, yeah, I guess I'm drawn to the big, slow-moving, colorful things.
These images they're really beautiful. I'm curious, were there any things you didn't want to see?
No, we photograph anything that we can, anything that's, you know, a grain of rice or bigger size-wise. So we are working on, you know, anything that I can. We went to our family cabin in Minnesota last week, and I found a beetle that had hatched out of a log at our cabin, and I photographed it too, you know. So, you know, we welcome all of them, whether they are a little startling to look at, or they're very comforting, beautiful, big, small. We love them all. That's what we have to do for the photo arc. We're trying to just show what biodiversity looks like at this point in time on planet Earth.
I've sat with my wife several times looking through this book because she's a retired school teacher, and the one thing that we both agree on is that we're hoping that this book, you know, kind of inspires people to quit wanting to squish or exterminate these bugs. Yeah,
I mean, it's a long way to go to convince people that insects are very beneficial, but they're tremendously helpful to us in terms of providing the fruits and vegetables that we eat and cleaning up the planet and keeping our planet healthy. So it's a generational change, though. Big ideas take about a generation to get across.
Oh, wow.
And so we'll get there eventually, but it's just going to take shows like this, discussions like this, books like this, to try to move the needle a little bit and to get people to see insects in a whole new light. And we hope that's what this book accomplishes.
In your studies over the past 18 months, did you notice if insects have egos? Because I know that a honeybee has got to have an ego. I got a job to do, and don't get in my way.
Well, I don't know about egos, but they certainly are driven. Ants especially are so social and communal, and and they sacrifice their lives all the time for the good of the hive. Well, for the good of their nest. But bees do the same thing. A lot of insects that are social, they really are. They have one-track minds. They really they work for the benefit of each other. There's a lot to learn from insects, I guess, if you look at it that way, isn't there?
Yeah. Living down here in the South with hurricanes and tropical storms, I got to tell you, Joel, I look forward to that because that means new bugs are on the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you like them, and I wish that everybody would realize that they don't have to love them, but they should respect them because they really do keep life on Earth going. We cannot live without them, and it's really time that people start thinking about, well, maybe I'll quit using pesticides and herbicides on my lawn. Maybe I'll plant more native plants. Maybe I love birds and realize finally that insects are what feed chicks. Birds feed insects to their babies to grow them,
yeah.
to raise them.
Plus,
so there's lots of different things we can learn from insects, but the first step is in meeting them, and hopefully this book has enough variety to catch everybody's interest and get them to think, oh, you know what, these are pretty cool. Maybe I should think of them as something other than things that I squish or poison.
You bring up the subject of birds and insects. A lot of people don't realize that the robin, if they don't ant, then they're going to have all those little mites all over them. They need ants to be a part of their life.
Oh, is that right? I did not know that. Yeah, there's a lot of symbiotic things.
Yeah, that's the reason why they're always rolling around in the dirt is because if they see an anthill, those robins are going down there. They need those ants.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's so many relationships, too, that are undiscovered, aren't there? I learned that there are parasitic wasps that lay their eggs in other living insects,
yep.
and those insects are then doomed. The baby hatches out and eats the host. But there are parasitic wasps of parasitic wasps. It goes on and on and on. It's really complicated and amazing.
As you've stepped into this world of insects, does that mean that you're now the forever student when it comes to this? Because, I mean, you're on a journey that is changing everything.
Well, I'm always curious. I think that's what journalists have to be, is curious, and that's a big thing that you either are or you're not, as a personality, but I am. So journalism made sense for me to go into. I have a degree in reporting, and I think that, yeah, it's a journey, and you never stop. I think if you stop, you get it's not good. Mm-hmm. You need to keep learning and keep experimenting, and the world's a wondrous place. I know it's a pretty harsh place at times, but it's still a wondrous place with a lot to learn. And we'll never learn even a fraction of what we should as individuals that don't live much past 100, the lucky ones. But, we keep going, and every day I'm excited to get up every day and see what I can get, see what goes on.
Joel, do you find yourself easily distracted now when you're supposed to be doing other projects or you're with your family or friends and you see bugs in the wild? Do you find yourself easily distracted to study what that bug may be? And do you find yourself reaching for your camera?
Yeah, I'm always looking. I'm always thinking about it. I read an interview with a talk show host the other day. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And he was saying what people don't realize is the amount of work. Like if you're a talk show host, a comedian, you can't go to the movies or to a restaurant or anything without thinking, would this make material? Would this make material for my show? Well, for me, that's right. I can't go on a fishing trip or drive down the road or whatever. I can't. If I'm out and it's warm and there are insects, I'm always thinking, man, do I have that one yet? That's really awesome. Could I catch that one in my little collection jar in time and get a picture of it? It drives my family crazy. It just really, but, they're amazing, and if the choice is to delay the family a little bit to catch something up, to photograph it, well, a lot of times I'll do that.
What's amazing about your books, Joel, even with the animal arcs, is the fact that it's almost like you're speaking to the future reader in the way that, sure, we're enjoying it right now, but 10, 15, 25 years from now, they're going to be picking up these books because they're brand new to them. They're going to cherish them just as much as we are.
Well, I hope so. That's kind of you. I mean, I hope so. We hope the photo arc outlives all of us. It's a really good record of what life on Earth looked like at this point in time across mammals and birds and reptiles and amphibians and fish and invertebrates. So we're really hopeful that it doesn't just become the world's largest obituary, that people will realize that these other animals were critical to our own survival. They make our world a better place, more enriched.
Wow.
And they're all works of art that need to be, be shepherded and stewarded.
Yeah.
So we hope that's where I'm coming from, and hopefully other people will agree.
You got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, Joel.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your enthusiasm, especially when it comes to insects.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Okay.